Okay, so that clip offended Laura Loomer, who's a massive Trump supporter, as we all know. And so she takes to X and writes this lengthy post. I'll get into it. So she writes, Anna is a malicious and pathological liar who has spent years with her co-host Cenk Uygur lying about and trying to cancel.
So apparently Laura Loomer came after Ana Kasparian in a series of posts on X. And I just wanted to say, look, Laura, Ana Kasparian seems to be waking up, right? Let's not shun her back to the left. We want to welcome her over here on the MAGA side with open arms, right? Because MAGA is for everybody. America First is for all Americans. And so Laura Loomer, who is seemingly unhinged half the time, we just saw that she recently went on a little battle with Tim Pool over Milo Yiannopoulos' comments about her on Timcast IRL, where she basically made a big public scene of her unsubscribing to Tim Pool, threatening to sue him, essentially saying that she's threatened other people for defamation in the past, and acting like Tim Pool should have some kind of filter or control over what his guests say on his show, when that is not the format that is being set up. And I believe it was Laura Loomer who, when she was a guest on Timcast, caused him to have to yank the show from live off of YouTube because she basically broke one of the YouTube rules, right? So it's just funny. And let's go ahead and have a look at Ana Kasparian's response to Laura Loomer.
I got to know Jeff before I knew what his politics were. Incredibly kind guy. He helps everyone in this building with anything they might need. And so that woke me up to, wait a minute, not all Trump supporters are like dangerous, evil individuals. And yes, it was stupid that I thought that to begin with. Like, I'm embarrassed admitting that, but it's just how I believed. So over the weekend, that brief clip from my appearance on the Modern Wisdom podcast started making its rounds on social media, even though my interview on that podcast was from literally weeks ago. And somehow it has upset some people, including, the fine people over there like Laura Loomer. So randomly out of nowhere, she attacked me over what I had to say, which I thought was fascinating. We're gonna get to her comments in just a minute, but here is more context from what I was saying while on the Modern Wisdom podcast. Take a look. And so I'm like trying to get his bicycle like up the stairs, and all of a sudden this man stops me. His name's Jeff. And he's like, hey, let me help you out with that. And he starts helping me out. He stopped everything he was doing to help me out. And then Jeff and I became very close. One of my neighbors who I really like, he was my favorite person in the entire building. And years go by. One day we're in an HOA meeting, homeowners association, and one of the people living in the building said something about Trump that was negative. I don't remember what it is. And Jeff whispers in my ear, oh, she's going to start trashing Trump. I'm out of here. And it hit me that he's a Trump supporter. We had never talked about politics before. That woke me up to, wait a minute, not all Trump supporters are like dangerous, evil individuals. And yes, it was stupid that I thought that to begin with. Like a light bulb went off and something was telling me, you need to scratch beneath the surface a little more because you don't have a realistic view of what's going on here. Okay, so that clip offended Laura Loomer, who's a massive Trump supporter, as we all know. And so she takes to X and writes this lengthy post. I'll get into it. So she writes, Anna is a malicious and pathological liar who has spent years with her co-host Cenk Uygur lying about and trying to cancel every outspoken Trump supporter, myself included. She has spread delusional lies about Trump, but now in a low-cut top, you literally can't see what I'm wearing, but okay. Low-cut top and a face full of makeup. She wants to tell some make-believe story about a guy named Jeff who all of a sudden made her realize that 80 million people are all unique individuals who have their own personalities and not all of them are Nazis.
Now, I gotta admit, I am with Laura Loomer when she noticed the face full of makeup, because my first impression was that Ana Kasparian was trying to do her best Lady Gaga impersonation, but I don't know. She said it was weeks ago. Maybe that's what she went for as Halloween or something like that.
The point of what I was saying was I was wrong to lump in all Trump supporters as the same type of person. And I came to this realization, and I'm embarrassed by what I previously thought of Trump supporters as like some monolith. But okay, I think you missed the point. Okay. Then she writes, come on, nobody is buying this garbage. Anna is trying to remain relevant in the changing media landscape after she has made serious cash bashing and defaming people like me who actually busted my ass to help Trump get elected. Okay, Laura. There's more, okay. She's a full-blown liar, and we need to reject people like this who spent years damaging our biggest fighters only to pretend like they don't think Trump is so bad after all. Anyone falling for this is stupid. You don't get to engage in cancel culture for 9 years, then get a free pass for being a raging lunatic. Okay, I mainly want to focus on the third graphic here, right? Because she says that I'm trying to remain relevant in the changing media landscape after making serious cash bashing like Trump supporters like her. Okay, I never made serious cash. I work at the Young Turks, okay?
Sorry.
Number two, what does she think is happening right now? Like, does she think that I'm trying to be accepted into the MAGA world and I'm trying to find a position or get named for a position in Trump's administration? I'm still, policy-wise, overwhelmingly left-wing. The only thing that's changed is that, well, first of all, we've always been critical of the Democratic Party. It's just that people are finally noticing that. But more importantly, yes, I changed my mind on like a handful of policies, including policies pertaining to crime, some extent on immigration policy, a few things that I've talked open and honestly about on this show. But economically speaking, I'm very much left wing and have been critical of the Democratic Party for their economic policies being too pro-corporate. And who am I making money off of? I'm here at the Young Turks. I've been at the Young Turks for 18 years. And by the way, this is a comment not only to Laura Loomer, but also to the left who engage in the purity stuff and don't like the fact that in the 18 years I've been here, yeah, I've changed my mind on a few issues. And they also don't like this. Look, I see ordinary Americans as civilians, okay? I see them as people who have the right to practice, their own beliefs, to have their own opinions, and I am done with demonizing people based on how they vote. How they vote or the reasons why they vote the way they do is complicated, right? So for me to demonize them and to be hateful and divisive toward them doesn't really make sense. I have changed the way that I talk about people, ordinary people, and the way that I approach ordinary people that I disagree with because I want to understand them. And I see them as my fellow Americans regardless of what their political ideology is. That's what has changed with me. I want to be clear about that. But more importantly, Laura, I'm not coming for you, and I'm not coming for whatever position you have in the MAGA world. You're okay, you're gonna be fine. No need to worry. I don't know why she randomly came after me today.
Yeah.
So I did respond to her, Cenk. Let me just read that real quick. There's no need to panic, Loomer. I'm not eyeing your role in the MAGA universe. No need to air out unhinged, paranoid thoughts because you and I are very different. Aside from moderating on a few policy issues, the fundamental difference between who I was in 2016 and who I am now is that I'm way more skeptical of narratives from mainstream news. More importantly, I approach ordinary people from varying perspectives from a place of compassion and open-mindedness. Because if I'm sowing anger and hatred, who the hell am I to point fingers at others for being toxic or divisive? In other words, I'm trying to cultivate the opposite of what ideologues like Loomer poison this country with, but I will give her credit for the bold decision to go after my looks.
Damn, shots fired. Okay, so let me regulate on the things that I know and care about. So first of all, this whole thing that everybody does, like, oh, you guys make so much cash. And
Nobody cares what you think there, Zink. This was about the cat fight, right? So anyways, I wanted to go over to X before I finish this up and just see if there's any additional little back and forth. So let's check it out. And okay, we do have a response from Laura Loomer. I gave you a compliment on your looks. I believe you behave like a disingenuous bimbo. You're a manipulative liar who refuses to take responsibility for spewing toxic anti-Trump propaganda and cancel culture for 9 years, but it doesn't mean you aren't pretty. You can be pretty and also be a lying bee. Ooh, that's one of them words that you just don't call a lady, right? I don't find the need to give compliments to anyone, so take it while you can, Ana Kasparian. I don't really see any other redeeming qualities in your personality or the way you carry yourself. I'll ask you again, do you take back all the lies you spewed against Trump and his supporters these last 9 years? Lies which you always knew were lies. Now, I'll interject right there a little bit, and I'll say that I believe that Ana Kasparian has been on a journey of discovery, and even like she said in this video, she's potentially changed her stance on how she sees the regular people, right? Which I thought was kind of a little pompous for her to say, but let's be honest, you got mega rich capitalizing off the lies that have torn our country apart, and then one day you went outside and almost got SA'd by some ethnic homeless man, and now you want to be forgiven for all your shameless behavior. Not only that, well, I mean, that was an awakening point for Ana, but also she really didn't like the fact that the left started calling women a birthing person, right? I think that rubbed a lot of real women the wrong way. But let's continue. Even I was nice enough to post a message of support when you posted a sob story about being harassed by some homeless man who you claim harassed you. Tons of Trump supporters posted messages in support of you, but you continue to make up lies about how you thought all Trump supporters were evil, and you had some fantastical interaction with a guy named Jeff. Now, I don't know. I mean, Ana Kasparian has this history of doxing people, so if anybody knows where Ana Kasparian lives, now they know where Jeff lives. So congratulations, Ana. You need to quit doing that. I'm just kidding there, but again, there's consequences for the policies that you've advocated for these last 9 years. You've forgotten you've helped curate these toxic ideas that are getting people killed and attacked and has led to mass psychosis on the left. Since you want to speak about poison and vitriol, take a moment to realize you're trying to come over to my side. So what does that say about you? Well, it says to me that she's learning from her mistakes and, and recognizing that life isn't the way that the cult projects it to be, that she's trying to break away from. And, I'm not even trying to defend Ana Kasparian. I just think Laura's becoming more and more unhinged. Or maybe it's not more and more. Maybe, I don't know. All I know is cat fight, right? Cat fight! So, how am I the vitriolic one when I have been consistent in my support of Donald Trump and his policies for 9 years? Do I need to go back to find every single episode of your show where you lied about me and attacked my colleagues with lies because we dared to support Trump? Stop being so disingenuous. I don't need to panic because I'm a genuine person, and what you see is what you get with me. I don't need to pander or pretend to have views. I don't need to pander to pretend to have views I don't have like you do as a way to save myself and career. It's not unhinged or paranoid. I'm just calling you out for being the fake lying bee you've always been. Have a nice day, Ana. Send me your address and I'll send you and Jeff a MAGA hat so you can at least make your conversion look believable. So basically, Laura Loomer isn't buying this whole conversion journey that Ana Kasparian appears to be on, but I think this is just not Ana Kasparian. I think this is just Laura Loomer engagement farming, because that's something that I've noticed Laura Loomer does on X rather regularly. Because now I believe Laura has moved on from going after Ana Kasparian to now she is going after Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like in this one here from 5 hours ago, Marjorie Taylor Greene claims to be an ally of the J6ers, but don't forget she lied to the American people and led J6ers on for years with a lie that she would release the J6 tapes, only to turn around and argue that releasing the tapes would put the security of the U.S. Capitol at risk. So, in my opinion, I think that Laura Loomer is basically just engagement farming. I wouldn't be surprised if a huge majority of her income actually comes from X. And that's fine, but it just is what it is when it comes to Laura Loomer. You got to take everything she says with a grain of salt. And if what Milo said about her on Timcast IRL is true, any bit of it, especially the part where she couldn't tell the difference between the Star of David and a pentagram, she's definitely not the most intelligent person. So anyways, with that, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving, and I'll just see you guys in the next one.